So in my last video, we looked at non-finites and saw how the non-finite can be used with different functions within the paragraph. So to review, the non-finite are words that look like verbs, but they are actionless. The non-finite are gerunds, participles, and infinitives. So gerunds, participles, and infinitives could function as a subject, an object, or a modifier or a complement to your paragraph, which means they can operate as an adjective or an adverb. So in this video, we're actually gonna write our own paragraph and see the difference between using a traditional way of answering a prompt versus using the non-finite within our paragraph to add some flavor and add some further context that can make it more interesting. So let's say you're in a standard English class and you're given a prompt that read like this. Emily Dickinson wrote thousands of poems while avoiding the public. In 3 to 4 sentences, use your own words to describe how Emily's seclusion benefited both her poetry and her future legacy. So this prompt is kind of a compare and contrast prompt where it wants me to describe how her seclusion affected her future writing and then her legacy in general. So my initial approach to this could just state the facts and say, what are the themes that were produced when she was in seclusion and then what that meant for her legacy. So something I could write would be, Emily Dickinson wrote many of her poems while in voluntary seclusion in her home in Amherst, Massachusetts. She wrote thousands of poems that focus on many aspects of the human experience. All right, good. So these first 2 sentences, I'm setting the tone. I'm just saying that while she was in seclusion in Massachusetts, she wrote on the themes of the human experience. So let's continue. While at home, she was able to perfect her craft and became a master of the slant rhyme. This is how she benefited to be in seclusion, was that she was able to produce and master the slant rhyme, which display her poetry in a better form. So to wrap it up, I'll just say, after her death, Emily's poems gave her future readers new perspectives in the experience of life, love, death, and melancholy. So as a way to wrap up this basic response to this prompt, I'm just saying that her legacy was allowing us to read the aspects of life, love, death, and melancholy. All right, so this is not too bad. This is kind of a basic response. And if I was a professor, I'll probably give it like a B or a C+. Its brevity is good and it does answer it, but it doesn't provide any kind of oomph and doesn't provide any kind of originality. I'm gonna rewrite this paragraph by using non-finites within the sentence, and I'll explain to you how to insert them. All right, so real quick, here's a fun fact. So apparently you can recite Emily Dickinson's poems over the Pokemon theme. Let's try it out with her poem, Wild Nights. Wild nights, were I with thee. Wild nights should be our luxury. Futile the winds to a heart in port. Down with the compass, done with the chart. Terrible. All right, let's get back to the point. Let's try spicing up our previous paragraph with some non-finites using gerunds, infinitives, and participles, and see if we can add some more flavor to this paragraph. So yeah, I do want to write about Emily, but I also want to write about the action of poetry. So what I'm going to do is start with a subject that raises the stakes of the answer. So I'm going to make a general intro that reads like this. Writing good poetry is an activity that requires consistency and a good understanding of the human experience. Boom. So I just rose the stake from talking about a basic answer into the actual action of poetry. So now I want to insert Emily Dickinson and describe what she found while being in seclusion. So I'm going to say, for Emily Dickinson, she found consistency by secluding herself from others in order to write about her perspectives of the human experience. So in this part, I brought in Emily Dickinson and I want to describe the verb found by using the word secluding. So I just described, or I used this gerund as a complement to that verb, but I'm also complementing my complement by saying in order to. So you can see how the non-finite provides some layers to provide further information that you might not really be able to pack. So now I want to centralize Emily's time frame. I want to bring it back to the past so that way I can wrap it up by the end. So I'm going to write, while alone with her own thoughts, she became a master in slant rhymes and focused her writing on the themes of life, death, love, and melancholy. So now I brought the time back to Emily's time frame while she's in seclusion. This is what she was able to produce while she was in seclusion. And now to wrap it up, you need to bring it back to a time frame or a tense time frame. So what I'm going to write is, She found that writing in seclusion will allow her to write without inhibition and to create poems that will last longer well after her death. All right, so I'd probably still give this paragraph a B, only because for a professor reading this, they would see it as a lot of reading, and for some reason, professors don't like to read a lot. But it reads much better, it sounds much better, and it has a lot more oomph and a lot more flavor than the previous paragraph. So as a quick review, just remember that the non-finite can function anywhere within the paragraph. You can use it as a subject, an object, or a complement, or modify anything you're saying. You need to have a main focus though. You always need to resolve what you're trying to say and bring it back to the main point. That way everything kind of makes sense and you can talk about what is the objective that you're trying to convey. All right, so last but not least, just get your idea out as best as you can. Be original, be happy, and remember that I'm always happy because I love you. All right.